The station did not sleep, but it did slow down. Lights dimmed in long corridors. Machines lowered their hum. The stars outside the wide glass panels stayed sharp and still, as if the universe itself was holding its breath. Elias Morrow liked this time of the cycle. It was quiet enough that his thoughts did not feel crowded. He stood near the observation window, holding a cup of warm nutrient tea that tasted faintly like citrus. Below him, the curved body of the station stretched out like a metal horizon. Beyond that, space opened endlessly, dark and calm. Elias worked as a systems analyst, which meant his job was to notice small problems before they became large ones. He studied patterns, energy flow, timing errors, behavioral data. He trusted numbers more than feelings because numbers did not pretend to be something else. That was why her words stayed with him. "My heartbeat synced with yours this season." She had said it calmly, as if stating a normal biological fact. No drama, no pause for reaction. Just a simple sentence spoken in careful human language. Elias had laughed at first, not because he thought it was funny, but because his mind had no place to put the sentence. It did not fit into any known category. Jokes had tone. Errors had reasons. Metaphors had context. Her statement had none of those. Valen of Quiet Tides watched him with her dark, reflective eyes. They were not shaped like human eyes, but they focused with the same attention. She waited, patient in a way humans rarely were. "I don't think that's possible," Elias had said finally. She tilted her head slightly, a movement he had learned meant consideration. "Possible does not require belief," she replied. "Only occurrence." That was 3 days ago, and Elias still could not stop thinking about it. Valen was a xenobiologist from the Thriss Collective, one of the oldest known civilizations in the explored galaxy. Her species valued balance above all things. Their cities were built around natural rhythms. Their language had more words for time than for color. Humans, by comparison, were loud newcomers, emotional, fast, unpredictable. Elias had been assigned to assist Valen because his work focused on long-term behavioral systems. Officially, he helped her understand human routines. Unofficially, he suspected the station wanted someone calm nearby in case the cultural gap caused misunderstandings. He did not mind the assignment. Valen was easy to work with. She asked clear questions and listened carefully to answers. She never interrupted. She never rushed. Sometimes Elias wondered if she found humans exhausting. That morning he was reviewing station logs when his console chimed softly. "Incoming message. Research Wing. Valen. I have updated biometric data," the message read. "Your presence is requested." Elias hesitated. A part of him wanted to delay. Another part was already standing up. He told himself it was professional responsibility, nothing more. The research wing smelled faintly of clean metal and recycled air. Transparent panels separated observation rooms from living environments designed for non-human species. Soft lighting adjusted automatically as Elias entered. Valen stood near a display wall, her long frame still and balanced. Thin monitoring bands rested lightly against her upper torso, glowing with slow pulses of light. "You are early," she said. "You asked for my presence," Elias replied. "I came." "That is acceptable," she said. "Please stand here." She indicated a marked spot on the floor beside her. Elias stepped into place, feeling slightly awkward. He clasped his hands together to keep from fidgeting. Valen adjusted the display. Lines of data appeared, curves, rhythms, numbers moving in gentle waves. "This line represents my primary cardiac rhythm," she said. "This one represents yours, recorded through ambient sensors." Elias leaned closer. The lines were not identical, but they were close, uncomfortably close. "They shouldn't match like that," he said. "Different species. Different biology." "Yes," Valen agreed. "That is why it is notable." "How long has this been happening?" She paused. "Since the start of this season cycle, gradually, not immediately." Elias swallowed. Could it be environmental, station gravity, radiation? Some shared variable. I have accounted for those, she said. None explain convergence. The word made him uneasy. Convergence implied direction, intention. Does this happen among your people? Elias asked. Valen's eyes dimmed slightly, which Elias had learned meant seriousness. Yes, she said. When a Thriss individual remains within a stable ecosystem long enough, their internal rhythms begin to align with it. It is how we determine compatibility with a world. Elias straightened. You're saying you're adapting to me. Not you alone, she said, but you are the strongest point of alignment. The room felt suddenly smaller. That doesn't make sense, Elias said quietly. I'm not stable. Humans aren't stable. We're inconsistent by nature. Valen looked at him for a long moment. Your kind defines stability differently, she said. That may be the error. Elias did not know how to respond. He felt the strange calm again, the one that appeared whenever he spoke with her. It was not happiness, not excitement. It was like standing near a steady fire on a cold day. I need to report this, he said at last. Yes, Valen replied. You should. The station reacted faster than Elias expected. Within hours, medical teams reviewed his health. Psych specialists ran interviews. Engineers recalibrated sensors, searching for faults. The station AI ran probability models so complex Elias could not follow them. Every conclusion returned the same result. No error detected. No illness. No manipulation. The data was real. And worse, it was spreading. Other Thriss researchers reported minor alignment effects with their human counterparts. Not full synchronization, but measurable drift. Slight changes in rest cycles. Stress recovery patterns adjusting subtly. The Thriss collective sent inquiries. Polite, controlled, concerned. Elias found himself at the center of it, though he did not want to be. He was not special. He had never been special. He liked predictable routines and quiet work. Yet Valen continued to request his presence. Not constantly, not urgently. Just regularly. They walked through the station's botanical ring, where plants from dozens of worlds grew in carefully managed harmony. Elias explained how humans enjoyed green spaces even when they were artificial. Valen listened. They shared meals, hers nutrient gels tuned to Thriss chemistry, his simple station food. They spoke about seasons, about how humans measured time by events rather than cycles. You mark years by memory, Valen observed once. Is that strange? Elias asked. Yes, she replied. And effective. At night cycles, Elias noticed his sleep improving. His dreams grew calmer. His stress markers lowered without effort. Medical scans showed nothing alarming, only improvement. That unsettled him more than sickness would have. One evening, as they stood watching a slow rotation of stars, Valen spoke again. The synchronization will end, she said. When? Elias asked. At the season's close, it always does. He nodded, though a strange sense of loss touched him. Does it bother you? He asked. She considered. Change is not discomfort, uncertainty is. Elias exhaled slowly. Humans live in uncertainty. Yes, she said. That is why this is unexpected. The station lights dimmed further. Somewhere, laughter echoed faintly from a human habitat ring. Life continued, unaware of the quiet anomaly forming within its rhythm. Elias looked at Valen and wondered, not for the first time, what it meant for an entire species if their heartbeat could align with something as unpredictable as a human. And somewhere deep within the station's systems, unseen algorithms began flagging a new pattern. Not a threat, not an error, but a question the galaxy had never asked before. The station changed without announcing it. No alarm sounded. No official message was sent to the crew. But Elias felt it in the way corridors stayed busy longer than usual, and in how conversations stopped when he entered a room. People tried to hide their curiosity, yet their eyes followed him all the same. He did not blame them. If he had heard the rumors without being involved, he would have stared too. Humans were not supposed to affect other species this way. Elias kept his routines. He woke at the same time, drank the same tea, reviewed the same systems. He told himself that normal habits would keep everything grounded. Still, small changes slipped through. His steps slowed when Valen walked beside him, matching her long, steady pace. His breathing adjusted without effort. He felt less tired at the end of work cycles, as if rest came from presence rather than sleep. He did not tell anyone that part. Valen noticed, of course. "You are adapting as well," she said one day while they sat near the artificial stream in the botanical ring. The water flowed gently over smooth stones, designed to mimic erosion patterns from several worlds. "I don't feel like I'm changing," Elias replied. "Most adaptation is unnoticed by the adapting," she said. Elias watched the water. "That sounds dangerous." "It can be," Valen agreed. "Or it can be survival." Reports continued to arrive from across the station. Thriss researchers showed increasing alignment with human teams. Not exact synchronization like Valen's, but close enough to cause concern. The Thriss Collective requested deeper scans. They asked about human emotional cycles, social bonding, stress responses. They asked why humans talked while working, why they shared meals, why they stayed together even when silence would be more efficient. Elias helped answer those questions. He explained that humans regulated themselves through connection, often without realizing it. That jokes reduced tension. That shared stories created rhythm. That loneliness disrupted internal balance faster than hunger. Valen listened to every explanation as if it were precious data. "Your kind stabilizes through noise," she said thoughtfully. "We call it company," Elias replied. The Thriss did not share that concept. Their species valued quiet harmony. They synchronized with planets, not people, with tides, not conversations. And yet here they were. One afternoon cycle, the station AI requested Elias and Valen to attend a joint review session. Representatives appeared as holographic projections, human officials, Thriss observers, neutral mediators. The atmosphere was calm but heavy. "This phenomenon cannot be ignored," said a Thriss delegate, their voice smooth and controlled. Synchronization implies environmental bonding. If humans are functioning as environments, the implications are vast. "We're not trying to influence anyone," a human official replied quickly. "This isn't intentional. Intent is irrelevant to outcome," the Thriss delegate said. Elias stood quietly. He was not used to speaking in rooms like this, but Valen turned toward him. "You should explain," she said. Elias swallowed. "Humans don't stabilize by staying the same," he said slowly. "We stabilize by changing together. One person feels stressed, another responds. Someone laughs, others relax. It's messy, but over time it evens out." The room was silent. "You are saying instability produces balance," the delegate said. "Yes," Elias answered. "Across groups, across time." The Thriss observers exchanged subtle signals. "This is incompatible with our models," one said. Valen stepped forward. "Then your models are incomplete," she said calmly. "Mine were as well." After the session, restrictions increased, not harshly, not openly. Thriss researchers were advised to limit unstructured time with humans. Shared leisure activities were reduced. Collaborative projects were shortened. The synchronization slowed, but it did not stop. Valen felt it immediately. Her internal rhythms resisted separation. Her rest cycles grew uneven when Elias was absent. She recorded the data carefully, even as concern grew within the collective. "This has never occurred," one senior Thriss scientist told her. "If alignment persists without environmental stability, it could strain your system." Valen accepted the risk. She requested permission for one final observation cycle. Denied. Elias sensed the distance before anyone explained it to him. Valen became quieter. Her visits grew less frequent. The calm he had come to rely on faded at the edges. He did not like how much that bothered him. One night's cycle, unable to sleep, Elias walked through the dim corridors until he reached the observation window again. The stars were the same, but they felt farther away. He did not hear Valen approach, but he felt her presence before he turned. "They are preparing to end my assignment," she said softly. "When?" Elias asked. "Soon," he nodded, staring out at the stars. "I understand." "That statement is inaccurate," she said. He gave a weak smile. "Then I accept it." They stood in silence, the kind that no longer felt empty. "The collective fears dependency," Valen said after a while. "They fear that attuning to humans means losing ourselves." "And do you?" Elias asked. She paused longer this time. "I fear stagnation more," she said. Elias looked at her, surprised. "Your people change quickly," she continued. "You adapt through connection. You carry instability, but you also carry recovery. That rhythm, it is not destructive." "It doesn't feel special," Elias said. "Ecosystems rarely feel special from the inside," Valen replied. The next cycles passed quietly. Official meetings continued. Decisions approached. Then something unexpected happened. A Thriss habitat ring experienced a system fault, not dangerous but disruptive. Environmental controls fluctuated, disturbing their carefully balanced living space. Thriss residents showed stress responses. Their internal rhythms destabilized. Human engineers responded immediately, working alongside Thriss technicians. They spoke constantly, coordinating aloud, adjusting in real time. They shared observations, reassured one another, adapted quickly. The fault was resolved, but the after effects remained. Thriss biometrics stabilized faster than predicted. Not because the environment returned to normal, but because humans stayed. The data reached the collective within hours. Humans had not restored balance by controlling variables. They had restored it by being present. The council delayed its decision. Valen shared the news with Elias as they walked through the botanical ring once more. "This may change everything," she said. Elias looked at the plants, at the quiet harmony created through constant care and adjustment. "We don't replace worlds," he said. "We just help each other through them." Valen's eyes reflected the soft green light. "That," she said, "may be enough." Far beyond the station, the galaxy watched quietly as a new question formed, one not about power or territory or technology, but about whether a species defined by change could become a place others learned to call stable. And for the first time, the answer did not seem impossible. The station entered a holding phase. That was the official phrase used by the central administration. It sounded calm and controlled, but everyone felt the tension beneath it. Decisions were being delayed, not avoided. Messages arrived from distant systems more often now. Observers watched quietly. No one said the word risk, but it lived in every pause. Elias noticed the change in Valen before she spoke of it. Her movements slowed, not from weakness, but from careful control. She spent more time recording data and less time walking the open corridors. When they did meet, she stayed closer than before, as if distance itself had become uncertain. "The collective is divided," she told him one quiet cycle as they stood near the artificial stream. "Some believe this alignment is a flaw, others believe it is a door." Elias listened, his hands resting loosely at his sides. "And you?" "I believe it is a mirror," she said, "and some do not like what it reflects." The final council review was scheduled soon. No announcement had been made, but everyone knew. If the decision went against continued human, Thriss proximity, Valen would leave the station. The synchronization would end naturally over time. That was what logic said. Elias tried to accept that. He returned to his work, throwing himself into system reviews and long-term forecasts. He told himself this was not his place to influence. He was one human among billions. He had not asked for this attention. Still, the station felt different when Valen was not nearby. Less steady. The calm he had come to recognize was not gone, but it was weaker, like a signal fading at the edge of range. Then, without warning, the station AI issued a request. Not an alert, not an emergency, a request. It asked for volunteers. A new experiment was proposed, one last data-gathering effort before the council reached its final conclusion. The idea was simple but unprecedented. Humans and Thriss would share a full cycle together, without restrictions. No structured research schedules. No enforced separation. Just shared space, shared time, shared routine. The risk was acknowledged, so was the potential. Participation was optional. Elias did not hesitate, neither did Valen. The cycle began quietly. Shared workspaces reopened. Communal areas filled again. Humans brought small habits without thinking, music playing softly, conversations flowing while hands worked, shared meals that stretched longer than necessary. The Thriss observed at first, cautious but curious. They did not resist the rhythm. They allowed it to happen. Biometric data flowed in real time. Synchronization increased, not sharply, not suddenly, gently, like a tide returning. Elias felt it as a sense of grounding. Stress came and went, but it no longer stayed. When problems appeared, they felt manageable, even when complex. Valen recorded her own responses carefully, even as she lived them. Her heartbeat aligned again with Elias when they worked side by side. But more than that, it began to shift with the group. With shared laughter, with collective silence, with moments of quiet focus. This had never happened before in Thriss history. They did not synchronize with groups. They synchronized with worlds. The council watched. Data analysts worked without pause. Models were adjusted and broken and rebuilt. Every assumption about stability was tested and found incomplete. Near the end of the cycle, the station experienced another fault. Minor, but timed poorly. Power routing fluctuated across multiple habitat rings. Response teams formed instantly, mixed without instruction. Humans spoke quickly, adapting plans as new information arrived. Thriss technicians adjusted with them, not resisting the rapid changes but flowing through them. No panic, no confusion. The system stabilized faster than predicted. Afterward, something remarkable happened. Thriss stress markers did not spike at all. They had adapted not to the environment but to the people within it. The final council session began shortly after. This time, Elias and Valen were both present. The chamber was vast, its walls displaying slow-moving star patterns. Council members appeared as projections, their forms steady and composed. "The evidence is clear," the senior delegate said. "Humans do not provide stability by remaining constant. They provide it by responding." "Yes," another added. "They function as dynamic systems." "Living ones." "This carries risk," a third said. "Alignment with change could lead to unpredictability." Valen stepped forward. "All ecosystems carry change," she said. "The difference is whether one adapts alone or together." Silence followed. Then the final vote was cast. The decision was not dramatic. No raised voices. No sudden shift. The Thriss Collective approved permanent alliance status. More than that, they approved shared habitation. Humans would not simply visit Thriss spaces. They would be welcomed within them. The synchronization was no longer viewed as a threat. It was recognized as compatibility. After the session, Elias stood once more at the observation window. The stars felt closer now, less distant. Valen joined him, her presence as steady as ever. "The season is ending," she said. "Yes," Elias replied. "Our synchronization will change," she continued. "It may weaken," he nodded. "That's okay." She looked at him, her eyes reflecting starlight. "It will not disappear," she said. "It will transform as humans do." Elias smiled, a small, quiet expression. "That sounds like us." They stood together as the station lights shifted into a new cycle. Around them, humans and Thriss moved freely, talking, working, sharing space without fear. Far beyond the station, the galaxy adjusted its understanding of humanity. not as conquerors, not as anomalies, but as something rare, a species whose greatest strength was not power or speed or technology, but the ability to change together and become a place where others could find balance. And for the first time, the universe did not just observe humanity, it adapted to them.